And yes, we're live.
And we were probably live 3 seconds before that.
And we're like all just like got that blank
Staring, bro.
like, hey,
Remember that? Remember getting made fun of, and like if you stumbled over your words in middle school, someone would be like, "Dirt, dirt, 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 dirt. What are you, dirt, dirt, dirt?"
And there goes Noah.
Right off the rip.
Right off the rip.
No, I was just saying.
I
I was
do
saying, remember that. I wasn't.
No, I want you to be you. You are offensive.
Yeah, we need
I'm
to-
not offensive.
He's just reliving life because that's true, and I do remember that too.
Yeah,
I
no,
know.
it was. But I think when we were young, it was more
Check.
appropriate. Like not appropriate, but
Porpoise, Rick?
no, it was more like more people were allowed to do that. Like now, there's politically correct. You can't do that stuff.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Noah's not in school right now, so even however many years ago he did it, it was not as
No, this was in
politically-
elementary. This was elementary school.
So
yeah, that is.
I was
life
doing
has
dirt to dirt.
changed a lot.
Yeah, like
but-
now you probably
Check
couldn't
this
do
out,
that
though.
without getting suspended.
Also in elementary, so I was thinking about when you were a kid, how easily influenceable you are,
Yes.
right? When I was a kid, the way I learned how to put my shoes on right was this one girl. She told me that her brother's feet grew backwards because he put his feet in the opposite shoes.
Oh, and they drew back.
And I was
And
I
you
was just
believed
like,
it.
oh my God, I do not want backwards
I don't
feet.
want backwards feet.
I
Yeah.
need to learn how to put my shoes on right.
Yeah.
Dude, and now
I
look
mean,
at you
it's-
now.
It's complete. It's reasonable.
It's the kind of psychology that honestly I feel I did use on my children. So
It was yeah,
You know, I tell you,
true story.
I got like a really traumatic like elementary school thing. And it worked. It was a good thing. You got to remember,
I
life
wanna
was a
hear.
little bit different, but it was like,
A
it was
lot.
kind of like how, what is it like? Is it Dare now?
Yeah,
Okay,
Or
yeah.
whatever. But
Drugs
this was
or
way
whatever.
before that, you know? But I remember them putting the whole elementary in the cafeteria and them everything. And I remember it was like, you know, you see this little kid walking down the street, and then a van pulls up with a real hippie-looking dude. Next
Don't
thing you
take
know,
candy
like,
from
yeah,
strangers.
Yeah, and the next thing you know, it's like you struggle, and then you just see a pair of shoes, and then you know, like the
what
shoes.
was it,
are-
like a movie or
yeah,
something?
and it was like all about like be careful of strangers, you know, stuff like that.
I never saw
And
that movie
I
in
was
school.
freaked out, like, and I walked to
got you.
school every day, you know, not 3 miles uphill, but I did walk about 3/4 of a mile to school. Roos, you remember where
Yeah.
Roos was? We had to walk. I mean, we didn't have
weren't
buses
far,
or anything like that. It
right.
wasn't a few blocks, you know. But yeah, I was terrified, especially because around the first corner of the street kind of looked a little bit like that scene.
Of
from-
course
no.
it did.
Yeah.
And there
Probably
was a
filmed it there.
weird van that was parked there a lot
the
too.
van was always there. No,
You should be
No, but-
terrified.
still to this day, I'm afraid of people with vans.
Also, something I think about is how many people, you know, have that traumatic experience.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's insane how many people have that experience with the shoes.
you get the shoes.
Yeah, like getting kidnapped. I'm trying not to say it like too brutal because, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of people got diddled.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm
true.
trying to say, but you just weren't getting it.
Yeah, I wasn't getting it. No.
It
Well, that
sucks.
became when we weren't like grown, but when
People start getting diddled.
well, no, that's
That
been
happened-
happening
that happened
forever.
forever, yeah.
No, but like I think the kidnapping and stuff like that because what's
Well, I
that
mean, I don't-
guy?
maybe the people always got kidnapped. I don't know.
I mean, it
didn't talk
became
about it.
more. Yeah, it became more because like that one guy. Oh my God, what was his name? Adam.
Steve Buscemi.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
you're
mean? Like
talking
that
about,
was
yeah.
like they worked so hard to make it so vocal and you know we're
That
all
was the
over
guy that,
and
like,
got the
did the
show.
Most Wanted,
yes,
right? Yeah.
exactly.
Wait,
It was
the
his
American
son.
Divorce Attorney for Men.
No,
No,
not
no.
that. No. He did a show like Walsh, something Walsh, right? Is
Yes.
his name, and he's still
America's
doing
Most Wanted?
America's
Is that
Most
what it
Wanted, yeah.
is?
And he like spent his whole life because his son got kidnapped and killed.
What?
And,
yeah, like
and-
in a
and-
mall, like
Yeah, and
he
then he ended up doing like
disappeared.
In a
They never,
mall?
yeah.
yeah, and then he's been like literally like on TV for 30 years since
What the actual
putting convicts
fuck?
away.
Which is probably like why, like we were always talking, like, I was never really scared of it, but I always like knew where my kids were. Like I wasn't ever comfortable with, oh yeah, you're gonna go to that side of the store or you're gonna do whatever. Like no, you can kind of stay by me. Like I mean, make
Yeah,
sure I know where
obviously.
you are.
I remember getting lost in stores and it always being real easy to find you though.
Yeah. Do you remember when we were? I think I brought this up a while ago, and some people looked at me like I was crazy. But on TV when I was a kid, it used to literally at the top of every hour it'd say, "It's 6 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are?"
I've heard that before.
Yeah, it's like they had to remind parents to like find
for their
Check on their
kids.
friggin' kids. Yeah.
Do you know where
Do
your
you know where your
children
kids are? After 6 o'clock, you needed to start to know. Because when I was a kid, it was
You
like,
came home
yeah,
when the street lights
Yeah,
came
if the
on,
street
right?
lights came on, you got to be home. Before that, you go F off.
It's scary though, like now, because like you might be just chilling, taking a nice little bath, you know, and then you get a little Amber Alert, right?
Oh God,
and
those scare the heck out of me.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it always makes me real sad too, because like it tells you like silver gray Buick coming down the street with a kid in
Yeah.
it, but like you know, you never see the car,
Yeah.
so you're like,
Yeah, like, what does that
Like,
mean? Yeah, yeah.
I
Like
never-
you said, you're in your bath. You're not going to see that car. Like,
do those work? Like, do people?
I'm sure
if
they work.
people
Yeah,
get
they
them
work.
and they
I
just
mean, Amber
happen to
Alerts
be
are
by,
big. Yeah, that's,
you know what I mean? If you were on the freeway and like that car drove by and that happened,
That would be
Yeah, no,
sick.
Amber
But-
Alerts are pretty
Yeah.
important.
What would you
yeah.
do? Would you have to like?
You just call 911.
Would you have to
probably.
pit maneuver him?
No, I think you just call 911 and be like, "Hey, listen, I got the."
you pit maneuver and it's not that car. It's just another one.
Like, shit, Nanny!
Sorry, right? Exactly.
He fit the bill. He did. I tell you what was really traumatic too is going back to the early days of COVID. Remember when like the governor's order would come across like every device,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
TV.
Bro.
Yeah.
It was like the end of the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
every device in the room would go off and your TV
I
would
know.
go off and it'd be like, there's a new governor decree. Stay in your home. The
Right.
purge has started.
Exactly.
God.
That's pretty much what it felt like.
That's what it felt like, the purge, right?
I know. I was just like on my PSP playing, and I'm like,
It was like, how did they do
How did
every
they do it?
device?
All at the same time too. It's
I know.
crazy.
Same
well, you
device,
figure I
it's
think they
horrible.
did that because back in the day,
what would they do?
they were doing the same thing with the nuclear stuff. Remember,
yeah.
we would get like
yeah.
the tests. You
Yeah,
know what I
testing it.
mean?
Well, remember
That's
that
siren.
happened.
And we
You
had
would-
less technology,
Yeah.
but it would still like it,
It was
would be on the
crazy
radio, it
because,
would be on the TV.
of course, Noah was on the phone with my nephew Brandon from Hawaii when the
God.
actual fake nuclear thing went
Yeah.
off.
Oh,
Did you hear
yeah.
about this, Jay?
Yeah, I did hear
Yeah.
about that.
So
It's
I
crazy.
mean, but
Should
it
I
was
tell the
like it
people?
said, "This is." Yeah, please tell me.
So I stayed up all night playing video games with my cousin Brandon because he lives in Hawaii, so we have this wicked time
Yeah,
difference.
6-7
right?
hours,
So
yeah.
if we ever have to play, it's got to be one person sacrificing. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So I sacrificed this morning. Man, we're playing. Same kind of thing. He gets like this Amber Alert sound on his phone, right? And he's like, "What is that?" He stops playing. He grabs his phone. He reads it out loud. Nuclear bomb, blah blah blah. Go
Yeah.
to your local bunker.
Yeah, this is not a test.
Yeah,
this is
go
not
to
a
your
test.
local bunker. So he's like, what? He wakes his roommate up, Jimmy. He's shaking Jimmy. He's like, Jimmy, look at this. Is this real? Is this real? All of a sudden you hear going through the hallways, right? You're like, holy crap, what is going on? I'm thinking like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Please elaborate more. He just drops his everything and just runs out the room.
Yeah,
so he
all
didn't
you
even
hear is-
talk
yeah,
to me.
so you're just hearing like commotion.
Yeah, all I'm hearing is screaming in the halls
That's
from,
crazy,
from
dude.
other
Yeah.
students in the dorm.
yeah, and hysteria. Yeah,
screaming.
yeah, thinking that a bomb is
Terrifying. I
Yeah.
hear women, like, you could tell when it's a girl voice, just scream, just running
It's
down
like
the
a
halls.
scene out of a movie. Yeah.
And it took I was just sitting there with my headphones on, just listening, trying to, like, honestly hear if there was a
Oh my
right?
God.
Because,
Yeah,
like,
you were waiting to hear him die. I remember you saying that.
And, like,
yeah.
I was shaking in my boots,
Yeah.
man. And
Yeah.
I remember it took, like, 10 minutes for the running to stop.
Yeah.
Like, it took about 10 minutes for
Yeah, and I think
everyone to
wonder how
leave.
long it actually took before they came back and said, "Oh wait, we messed up." You know?
My bad.
It was a while. I remember
Yeah.
Brandon telling me too that there was a line. Nobody could get into the bunker, right? Everyone was just waiting outside, right?
Yeah.
And that they ripped the bunker open. 2 defensive tackles that played on U of H.
Yeah.
Literally like we're like, "Let us in!" and they like busted it open or something. It was
I remember my sister
Fucking
saying that, like,
crazy.
she was just like huddling with her daughter and husband, like, "Okay, the end is coming. You know, let's spend this time together as a family." And I mean,
Now, how did
yeah.
that ball get dropped? Do you know anything about that?
Well, so
Like-
it was an interesting thing. You know, they said that, which is total bullshit, to be totally honest with you. They said that it was like someone accidentally hit like the instead of test, the real thing, which there's just no way, because what ended up happening was like within days, there was like 3 other things like this happened around the world.
Really?
Yeah, like South Korea had one that had the same thing. I think Japan had one that did the same thing.
I
So obviously someone was hacking the system. But they ended up. Of course, they're not going to tell us, and that's just conspiracy.
You
but-
got to remember also around this time was when Trump had his big balls on talking shit to North Korea and stuff.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. So it could have been a
So
North
that's
Korea
why
thing.
you were
yeah.
thinking that it was real.
Yes.
because-
Right. Yeah. He was sparring with Kim Jong.
He was.
And then all of a sudden this thing like and they were saying
Yeah.
they had a bomb that could go that far. So
I remember I
so, yeah.
texted right when all the commotion was happening. I was
Yeah.
texting my Navy friend, and I was just like, "Can you please research into this for me?"
Yeah.
And he was just like, "Yeah, your cousin's about to die."
Oh my gosh.
And then it took a
What?
while for him to be like, "No, I guess
Just
it was
kidding.
just a joke."
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, it wasn't a joke. It was a mistake.
So that was
or
the
a
first
hack or-
response. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna die.
But I just think the government. I just think the
Paraphrase
government.
a little
Thanks,
bit.
Yeah.
thanks, jerk.
Yeah.
I think the government just didn't want to admit that they got hacked.
I agree.
Like they were like, well, the nuclear alarm system probably not want to
Well, it
show
makes
hacking.
sense because you can't. Yeah.
Oh,
you
and by the way,
can't
now we
say
can
yes
we can
to
see
that.
Jay. By the way, Jay
Hi,
is no
guys.
longer
We can.
a
Disembodied.
disemboweled.
I'm
Why am I
disemboweled still.
disemboweled? I always say disemboweled.
I'm still disembowed, just not disembodied.
Rail this, can we rail this in?